Hey there guys, Dan here from Your Guitar Academy and welcome to this beginner's 30-day challenge guitar course. And I'm really excited to bring you this one because it's so important as a beginner, as someone who's got goals and ambitions on the guitar, to install really good habits. And there's two really important habits that we're going to be putting in and installing in this course. The first one is daily practice. That's what it's all about. Can you pick up the guitar every single day? If you can get that to become a habit so that every day you pick up a guitar, and it's really not that hard to do that, just find 10 minutes, whatever it might be. We'll go into more detail with that as the course goes on. To pick up and play, you will be able to improve quickly on the guitar. And secondly, can you follow a focused syllabus, a structure? And that's exactly what we're giving you with this course. So you're getting the focus, the structure, exactly what to do with your practice time, plus you're turning up every single day to put in the time to improve. So it's going to be a really exciting course. We're going to be going through everything you need. We're going to be doing chords, we're going to be doing rhythm, we're going to be doing a little bit of lead, theory, guitar gym, everything rolled into one 30-day challenge. So I'm super excited for you guys. We're going to go through this step by step, and in this first unit, we're going to start by smashing the basics. So first up, pick up your guitar and let's get started. Okay, so if you're new to this course and you've just come through to this on YouTube, then please remember that you can head on over to the website and you'll find full write-ups for every lesson, all of the tab, all of the chord boxes, the fretboards, everything you need to absolutely smash and master every single lesson. As well as that, please do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It massively helps us continue to provide you these free courses, and leave us a comment. If you've got questions, we will get back to you. So leave us a comment under the video and we'll speak to you there. Okay then guys, so it's important to note that this is for beginners of all types. So I want to cover stuff that people who have never picked up a guitar before need to know, as well as make sure that you guys that are coming back who have played a little bit, perhaps a few chords or songs or rhythm, you get a lot out of this as well, because you really refine what you've learned, you make sure that you remove any bad habits, and that's why we're going to be going through everything you need and learn even more to make sure that you can progress forward into any genre, style, or kind of advancement that you want. So there's loads to do here, and we're going to start with the real basics. So holding the guitar, okay? This course we're going to be using an acoustic and an electric. You can do the whole course with both, okay? So it really doesn't matter if you've got an electric right now, use that. If you've got an acoustic, use that. You'll see me using both for different parts of the course. So really, honestly, it's no problem. The key thing, first of all, is getting a good position to hold the guitar in. So you can see here, I'm kind of sitting on a stool, and typically the first thing is to make sure that the leg that you're holding the guitar on is raised. Okay, so I like the kind of bar stool style thing, whereby you've got that kind of little platform to put your leg up on, which is what I've got here. It's just at a shop, but I'm just on there. And that really allows you to have that raised leg. Now, for some people, it might just be, you can get like a footstool or something like that. It might even just be on the sofa, making sure that one leg is a bit further down than the other. Just try and get a bit of a raised platform with your right leg, assuming you're right-handed and you're holding it like this. If you're left-handed, other way around. Feels really awkward to me, but that's how you would do it. And then use this part of the guitar to just rest on the leg. Okay, so it's really as simple as that. That rests on the leg, and your hand, your arm, where you're going to be strumming, is just holding the back of the guitar there. So all this bit here, that's just being held by this arm. So just kind of get used to the fact that even if you're not holding the fretboard, the guitar is pretty stable. So between there and here, you're kind of clamping the guitar in place, and then you can just practice kind of waving your arm around randomly to try and make sure that that's all in place. So that's how you would hold the guitar. So that's kind of your first step to getting right. And I would say quite often it's easier to hold an acoustic because it's a bit more fuller bodied. If you're doing it with an electric guitar, for example, I've got the electric guitar I'm going to be using for the course right here. The difference here, and it is a beauty, isn't it, is of course this is a much smaller body, so you find yourself a bit more like that. So if you're first starting out and using an electric guitar, I'd probably use a strap as well. So just pop the strap on that comes with the electric guitar and just have it so that it's resting just about there. So if you just sit there like that, it should be resting. It shouldn't feel like it's leaning totally against your leg. It should just feel like that. So you get a similar. Now, of course, I've been playing for years, so I don't need to worry about that too much. You won't have to always do that, but I'd say when you're starting out, maybe with an electric, if it feels a little uncomfortable, then use a strap. That will help massively. So there we go. That's our first bit. And then the pick. Now, I don't care whether you're an advanced beginner, a beginner, a total newbie, whatever you classify yourself as, we need to learn how to hold the pick properly. And this course, we're going to be using only a pick. It's just a nice place to start. I think every guitar player needs to learn how to use a plectrum. And then, of course, as you develop, you might want to move into kind of, you know, the fingerstyle stuff later on down the line. But for now, we're going to use a pick. So I'm going to come to the other camera here, and I'm just going to show you how to use this. So one thing to bear in mind is that I use a kind of medium gauge pick. It's about 80 mil to 80 millimeters, something like that, 80, 90. It's just super, it's thin, but it's not too thin. It's a little bendy, but not too bendy. Just basically go into a guitar shop or online and type in medium gauge pick, and that's a good place to start. Okay, just a nice, straight down the middle pick that will do everything. So this is the one I'm using. And to hold it, what I do is I take my right hand, so the strumming hand, and I curve my first finger around so I get that kind of, you know, like trigger happy kind of vibe there. Okay, so that's kind of curved round. Don't worry about the rest of the fingers. They might all want to do that. That's all about finger separation. You might be able to do one of them, but it doesn't matter. That one goes there and the thumb gets ready. And then I place the plectrum like that on the on just this first little curve. So on the smallest part of the finger, I've just placed the plectrum there and clamp it down with the thumb. And what I'm left with, if you can see that from a variety of angles, is basically the thumb is straight. Imagine like a flagpole and then the actual flag itself. So the flag should be coming out kind of horizontally like that, and this goes up vertically. So you get that kind of vibe, and you can see I'm holding it just between these two. So just between the thumb and the first finger, okay? Now, if you want to get a really close-up image of that, then head on over to the website, because we've got a nice picture that we took of that, which really clarifies it. But that's basically how you hold the plectrum. So every time you pick it up, just get used to that. It'll take time, honestly. It'll take a couple of weeks to really get used to picking up a plectrum and just feeling comfortable. But I would say, outside of your daily practice, have a couple of plectrums in your wallet. You know, every guitar player needs plectrums in their wallet. Simple. Have plectrums in your wallet, and lots of them, because these things just disappear. They just go into a whole nother zone somewhere, million miles away from Earth probably. You drop them and they disappear into the stratosphere. All right, it's crazy. But have a few. Just hold them throughout the day. If you're just working in the office or whatever, just pick it up, hold it, get used to that feeling. Okay, that's kind of what you want to do there. And then you've got it. You've got your guitar, you're holding your guitar properly, you've got your plectrum, and you can kind of hold it nicely, okay? So just allow for the fact that it will take a bit of time. By the end of this 30 days of doing these lessons, you'll be used and familiar with holding this plectrum. Okay, now let's talk about our first chord. So first lesson, first chord. This is the main thing I want you guys to be practicing. And it's called da, 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 an E minor chord. The saddest of all chords. It's just, you know, it's a great place to start because it's a relatively easy shape to get used to. And we've got a lot of developing to do. So we've got to start building calluses. We've got to get used to the hand position. So we've got loads to kind of fit into this. So first up, let me just show you how to put this chord on, and then we're going to practice it together. Take a quick break whilst I show you something else, and then come back to it. So we're going to do a lot of practicing together in these videos. That's going to be, you know, really fun. You know, you get to see exactly how you should be practicing. So first things first, these are the strings, okay, going across here, and we'll talk about the different string names in the next lesson. We're not going to do that now. But we're going to take our second finger. So the second finger, it just simply goes first, second, third, fourth fingers. I'm going to take the second finger, and I'm going to place it on the second fret, so that's the first fret, That's the second fret, third fret, fourth fret, fifth fret, okay? And I'm going to place it on the second fret, on the second string down. Now this is called the A string, and we'll talk more about that in the next lesson. But for now, just match up to what I'm doing, okay? So second fret across, second string down. So there's fret number 1, fret number 2, and string number 1, string number 2, like that, okay? So there is the first thing. And this is your first test. Can you get the plectrum to actually pluck that A string just by itself for a second? Okay. Yeah, first little test with a plectrum, right? Okay, and we'll talk more about plectrum technique as we go, especially as we get into the guitar gym section. But for now, let's just get used to the feeling of the plectrum in the hand. So that's the first thing. And one of the main things to note here is that my hand position has now changed, okay? So I'm doing this. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting my thumb at the back of the neck, okay? So you can see it's resting like that, and you see that joint is as flat as I can get it. So maybe a little bit like that. Not like this, but quite flat. It's resting at the back of the neck like so. And that means that I'm allowing my wrist to come all the way around the front of the neck. And now, again, it's gonna feel really uncomfortable, guys, really uncomfortable. But just bring it round like that, and that's your starting point, okay? So thumb at the back, wrist around, and that allows you to have this second finger doing kind of like a loop, kind of like creating a bridge over the rest of the strings, so you're not touching the rest of the strings underneath. And if you see here, and I'm going to really try and use the beautiful focusing on this camera, I'm going to dig right in to this string and give myself a big kind of crevice on my finger. And now let's see if I can get this on camera. Okay, so let's see if that will focus in. There we go. If you can see where that divot is, you can see it's right up towards the fingernail, isn't it? That's where you should be pushing in. I'm just seeing if I can get that as clear as possible for you guys. So you see that little dip there? That's where I'm going to be pushing in. So it's right at the very top here, okay? And that is where you're trying to make contact with the actual string. Okay, so you can see it's not flat like that. It's like that, on your tippy toes, as it were. So that's our first bit, okay? And we're just going to try and pick that. Then what we do in the same hand position is we add the third finger underneath. So the third finger is in the same fret, so second fret, okay, so this box here, but it's on the D string, so the next string down. And when you put the two together, okay, that's the starting blocks of our E minor chords. So let's just go over a few bits here. So thumb at the back. That means that my wrist can come around and both fingers are on the tippy toes, the fingertips, pushing down into that fret, okay, onto those strings. And that allows me to create this bridge underneath so that you can see I've got a nice bridge there for them. And take a break, because every single time you put that on, it's going to feel really hard, okay? One thing, the first thing over this 30 days that you're going to find is there's a lot of physicality. And it really doesn't take too long for the physicality to become easier. But, you know, you're talking about probably a position that your wrist hasn't ever really been in for an extended amount of time, unless you're used to walking around kind of gripping like that. Not sure what sport you might be doing. But that's a kind of wrist position that you're not used to. You'll be pushing down on very soft parts of your fingers for the moment until we build up those calluses, which is something that will happen. They'll get a bit scabby and harden up, which is a good thing. That's what we want. So we've got a couple of weeks really whereby there's going to be that kind of physicality part of it. It's not as musical as you'd like it to be instantly, but physically, and we can work through that, right? You just got to do it regularly, short bits of practice regularly. So that gives us the shape, all right? So pop it back onto the neck. A couple of little tips here. I want to try and get both fingers as close to the actual silver fret. So when we say fret, we kind of look at the box. So this is fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, fret 4, like that. But actually in physicality, the actual silver bit there, that's actually the fret. That's what that is called, that silver line, that's the fret. And that is where we want to get the fingers as close to as possible. So you'll notice here that that third finger is almost right on top of that fret. And this finger is as close as I can get it, without totally moving my hand position. So it looks like that. That'll give you a much clearer sound than if I go back. If I'm not that close to that fret, you get that kind of deaded sound. So you want to get as close to that fret as you can. And now, and this is our ultimate test, keep that down and we're going to go through every single string. Okay? Every single string like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the plectrum. You're just literally just letting that plectrum drop through the strings like so. And ideally, and I'm just going to give my hand a break, and please do keep giving yourself a break here because it's a lot. You can see even I'm doing it. So it's important to do it. And you're aiming for that nice clear sound. And very likely you might have something like this. Something like that is very common for this finger to slightly be resting on the G string, so this string here. And if that's happening, all you've got to do is just get that thumb further back down the neck. So actually make it further down like that. And that will allow your wrist to come round and settle really nicely there, okay? So your first aim is to try and get that chord sounding as good as you can get it, okay? So there we have it. Take your time with it, okay? Don't rush it. You've got all day, okay? Until the next lesson, this is the only thing you're practicing. So you're holding your plectrum, you're trying to do this E minor chord, and you're just making sure the guitar fits quite comfortably on the body. Now, just before you go, there's one more thing I want to show you, okay? And this is actually how this will be written out, because you're gonna very likely come across this chord online. And certainly if you go over to our website, there'll be an image of how to use this chord. Now, for a lot of you just looking at this image, it's going to be a little bit of gobbledygook. So this is the introduction, and you're going to very much enjoy this, I'm sure, of the Blackboard learning system. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw out this kind of fret box, which is what we're going to be using. So if we just have a little look here, so just bear with me a second. I'm going to draw 6 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 lines, as you can see. And imagine that those are your strings. Okay, so imagine that at the top of this, you've actually got the kind of, this is a terrible drawing, but you've got the guitar headstock right at the top of that. Imagine that bit there is the guitar headstock going up like that. All right, so just, it's like a guitar on a stand, if you imagine it correctly. So like literally that guitar there, the headstock, and then the strings going down like that. That's the image we're trying to create here. Just pop that down. And then I'm going to draw in the frets. So fret number 1, fret number 2, fret number 3. So like that. So if we have another look at that, there we go. So we've got this kind of grid whereby we've got the strings going down like that. And this is the lowest string to the highest string. So low in sound to the highest, or thickest to thinnest. And then you've got the frets coming along this way. So you've got the first fret, so I can like 1, 2, doing this backwards, 3, like that, 1, 2, 3 in terms of frets, like so, okay? So that gives us our kind of basic map, and then we just simply pop the fingers on. So I'm gonna do a circle there and a circle there. So if you look at those circles now in the green, hopefully you can see that nice and clearly, what that shows us is where you pop your fingers. So this is saying that there's a finger that needs to go onto the second string, the second thickest string, and the third thickest string. And this finger, we'll write it in there in a second, is going to be on the second fret, and this one's going to be on the second fret. So it's a map, isn't it? And then I'm just going to write in here that that would be my second, and that would be my third. So if I just do that in the white so it's really, really clear, what I've got there is telling me now, and if I just put this in the other camera for 1 second so you can really see that nice and closely, is we've got the second finger goes there, the third finger goes here. So the second finger goes on the A string, so the second string, The third finger goes on the D string, so the third string, and they both go in the second fret, okay? So that is what a chord box or a chord diagram looks like. And when I kind of pick up the guitar again, and we have another look at the guitar, you can see that's what it's matching up to. So imagine I'm like this with the guitar, right? So that's how I am with the guitar, and that's how it should look, all right? So it's a little bit of time to get your head around that, but you'll see those chord boxes everywhere online, certainly on our website. If you've gone ahead and downloaded the workbook for the course as well, then thank you very much for your support. And you'll see them all through that workbook. And that is how you read a chord box. So, study notes so far. Learn the E minor chord. Check it out on the website as well, so you get familiar with actually seeing it written out in a chord box. Make sure you're comfortable or getting more comfortable with how to hold the pick, and do that during the day, just pick it up, la la la. And make sure you're getting comfortable with how to hold the guitar as well. So there's a few things happening at the same time. Learn that, go through that process all of today, and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Make sure you show up tomorrow for the next lesson. Okay guys, so thank you so much for watching this video. That's it for today. Please do head on over to the next lesson when you're ready, which you can find here, or you can start from the beginning of the playlist right here on YouTube over here. Also, if you want to leave us a comment, we do our best to answer any questions that you might have, and pop us a like and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Every little helps. Thank you so much, guys. Speak to you later.